Hi guys, welcome to Experience with Apogo. I told you that we had two guests on the show today, and we have Naza and Nene. If you don't know Naza and Nene, do you really know me? I'm sure you don't. So, but well.
What of your new subscribers?
Oh, hi, my new subscribers. Do you know Naza and Nene? No, you don't. They're my sisters, Naza and Nene. But well, the special guest for today is Nne. Say hi to them. Say hi to
This
the
is staring at
camera.
you.
Say hi.
Ooh.
So yes, Naza and Nene are like my closest friends. I don't think I should call them friends again. They're my sisters, and they're on the show today. We are going to be talking about the loss of a loved one. I think you're supposed to introduce yourselves. Just be like,
Okay.
hi.
My name is Nene Obidepo. I'm a lawyer. I'm a mom. I'm a wife. I'm
Okay.
I'm
a
getting the memo.
chartered.
What?
I'm a chartered mediator and arbitrator. Businesswoman as well. Yeah. Thank
Oh
you for
yeah,
having me.
Naya's locks. Naya's
I
locks.
didn't want
Check
them to know
Naya's
that
locks
I'm
on
doing that
Instagram.
Blair's look.
Hi
Okay.
everyone. My name is Naza Ozoka. Following all, how did they say it?
All
Existing
protocols. All protocols.
So just the same way and Nene said has. I'm a pharmacist. I am a wife, a mom, a businesswoman.
Okay.
Yeah.
Glow by
I own
Naza.
Glow by NASA. Yeah.
Okay. So this topic is quite personal to everyone seated here today.
Mhm.
And I felt like Naza and Nene were going to be the best people to have this conversation with. A lot of us have lost loved ones and we don't know how to, deal with it, how to handle it.
Nipple.
Sometimes it breaks us so much that we
Mm.
don't know what to do. So let me start with Naza because Naza has the, should I say, she
Most
suffered the
recent.
most recent,
The most recent
loss of a loved one. So let's start with you. I remember when we used to have conversations, right? One of your biggest fears was losing that loved one, and then it happened. Before that time, Naza always say, "Hey, my biggest fear in life is losing this person. My biggest fear in life is losing this
Yeah.
person," and then it finally happened. So, like when it happened, how did you feel? Like when you got that call or that text that says this person is gone?
So it was 7 a.m. in the morning. So my husband rarely calls at that time of the morning, except it's very, very urgent or like something very serious. And knowing everything on ground at that moment, the moment my phone rang, I just knew it was it. I knew that was it. So I just picked up, and he said,
Okay, so I need to say this. If you see tears today, just take it.
I'll try not to cry.
Cry.
So he just said, I think he said mom is gone, or mom just died, or something like that. And then he asked me to say my last words to her via video call. And I could not say anything. I didn't even know what to say, because for the few days before then, I was just living in denial. Like, I know once there's life, there's hope, God can do something, because what did you ask me?
How did you feel?
Yeah.
How did I feel? I felt numb. Like my world was halted at that point. I don't even know. I think for the first few days I was still in denial, tears here and there, not knowing how to, I don't even know. It just felt like my world was shattered, because anyone that's known my mother-in-law while she was alive would know that she's one person that seemed like she would never die. If there's a sentence like that, or like anything like that, like she's the strongest, liveliest, strongest person I've ever met. Like, she's strong in every way, spiritually, mentally, physically.
So we need to state that Nazar's mother-in-law is back though, as the baby. So I really need to put that. We need to, yeah, you're back, aren't you? I know it's you, so we
So she's like the
understand.
strongest person. So I just felt as though the only thing that defeated her was
Yes.
death.
Mhm.
So, but I mean, those few days it was just tears here and there. Oh, my mom cried. My mom cried. Sometimes when she's crying, I'll be shouting at her like, I mean, if you're crying this much, someone like me that just had a baby, what would I do?
Mhm.
It was
I think
crazy for everybody.
that is so,
Final.
and so I don't know what the word is. You don't expect it, because when I lost like my only sister, I wasn't expecting it, but and sometimes you just feel that, since you serve God or you're close to God, there's some certain things that are not supposed to happen to
Mhm.
you,
Mhm.
that God has your back.
Funny enough, you just feel sorry to cut you, but it feels like it's those people closest to God.
That
Because
live
there was something
earliest.
someone told.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll get to that point where how do you cope? I will now get to what people told me, that just gave me a little
Little bit of
closure.
hope.
But it just felt at that moment, I just started thinking about it. It's just good people. Good people that were too good for this world.
After I lost my
I just
sister,
not crying
right?
because we're talking about grandma.
After I lost my sister, I didn't pray for 6 months because I was like, I don't get it. My entire family served God all our lives. We didn't know any other thing apart from serving God and everything. And then my only sister was just so young, she was 18, and she died while we were praying. She just slumped and died. And then she died on a Friday. She was supposed to lead the choir administration in church on Sunday. And I was like, God, so you couldn't even keep her
To
Praise
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 you.
you
you.
and like it's
To praise you.
I don't know how my mom did it, but my mom was the strongest all through that
Period.
difficult period. She
Period.
was
Mm.
always like, "Oh, God took everything from Job, but Job still said God." I was like, "Well, me, I'm not Job, I beg." Everybody go like where they are because it was
Mm.
so hard. It was so hard. I broke down immediately after the funeral. I was locked up in my house for 2 weeks. I couldn't talk. I was just crying. And then the bad thing about death is that the pain never goes away.
It's like every single time you talk about it, it feels as fresh as it was the
Yes.
day you experienced
Yes.
it.
Like Naza was talking and I already wanted to cry. I was holding it back because
Yeah.
I didn't want to remember anything. And I'm like, how does this still feel like this? It's been I think about 6 to 7 years now, and it still feels like this happened yesterday.
Yeah.
How? I spoke to my son on Wednesday and then on Friday she was dead, and I'm like, dead. I don't understand what does dead mean. You never come to terms with it. It's like heartbreak, right?
And you're just left in
Sometimes
memories.
once you're heartbroken, maybe another lover comes and wipes the memory of the past love. But death, I don't know, never goes away. Nobody can wipe it away.
This just reminds me of a poem. You were talking about the finality of death, and how death was the only thing that could break your mother-in-law. Or so there's this poem that I did in secondary school that goes, because I couldn't stop for death,
Mm-hmm.
death stopped for me.
Hmm.
Mm.
So for me, like it just carries a lot of weight. Like most times we don't, when we live our lives, we try and block out death. Like it's never gonna
It
happen.
happened.
But that goes back to because I could not stop for death.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, death somehow just creeps in
Mm-hmm.
on you. And we pray, what our prayer is that the person lives long enough for us to experience everything I want to experience with the person. But even in old age, looking at that Wizkid's video, and something that happened recently,
Yeah.
Wizkid's video with his at his mom's funeral, you could just see how heartbroken he was. And even though she wasn't that old, but you could say that she was old enough,
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
you just still want,
The person to
The
be
person to be
yeah, you
there.
just want the
around.
person to be there.
Like I was asked. Sorry. Let's
Mm-hmm.
finish what you're saying.
So a recent loss that I would say that I experienced, aside my cousin
Cause
that passed on, my dad's older sister, she died the same year as that I had my daughter,
Mm-hmm.
Adana. And no, I think she even died after Adana, yeah, because
oh,
she died last year. And it was Easter period. I went to see my parents in Ibadan, and we had gone to there's this place in Ibadan, everybody loves the amala. It's called Iyaskai. So we
Okay.
got amala from Iyaskai, and we got back home and we're planning on how we're going to dig in. Just sit down on the floor and just dig in. And then I saw my cousin's. This wasn't even a call. My cousin posted on his WhatsApp stories that she was gone, because this my cousin was adopted by her.
Mm.
So he posted that my mom is gone, something like that, and I'm like, I don't understand. So I call him, or I think I made a mistake. I told my mom, and then she's like, no, 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 no. So then we now call him, and my dad was on his way back from the east. He had already heard on his way back, but he did not call because he knows how my mom is going to break down. Because when my grandma died, my mom cried her heart out. We were in the bank. My
That's
mom fell on the
her
floor.
mother-in-law.
Yes, my mom fell on the floor. She died. She died on Valentine's Day. My mom fell on the floor. I was even like, mom, is embarrassing.
My
Like,
sister
get up.
died 3 days before Valentine's Day. That thing can be heartbreaking, I beg.
So when I knew she was, I knew she was going to be broken, but I didn't expect the extent in which she was going to be broken. My mom said no. She called Pastor Jerry's name. She said no, take the phone to her bedside, because she thought that it had just happened. So she wanted to call her spirits back. I said no, she's already in the mortuary. My mom said there's nothing. My mom called on God of Pastor Jerry, called on God of Israel, God of everybody.
God of
that
Jacob.
she used all the names of people in the Bible that she could. Lazarus, who did she not this thing? And at that moment I actually wanted to cry. I actually started crying. And then I looked at my daughter's nanny, and she just told me I should just like
Stay
hold it
strong,
together, because
yeah.
I needed to be strong for my mom.
Yeah.
My mom sat on the floor. She was crying, hitting. Even when I came back, it was like 3 hours she was on the floor. She didn't get up. She couldn't eat. She couldn't do anything. Just telling her sorry, sorry. We have to take Adana upstairs so that she doesn't see her, in that
That
state,
state.
kind of thing. So my point is, my mom now felt like she didn't have any other person in that family, because her mother-in-law was gone, her sister, because of my dad's sister that introduced her.
Don't cry. So I know, right? Because I've been holding my tears too, and I don't want to cry. And I feel like Nana shouldn't cry, so I won't cry. But yeah, because I'm trying as much as possible to not to make this episode, long. So before Nana gets back, how do you cope with the loss of a loved one, or how did you cope when you lost a loved one?
So people were coming for condolence visits, and bless you, baby.
Bless you, my darling.
And my husband was the one, going to see them, because I just had my baby. She was just 1 month. She's 4 months now. So she was just 1 month old then. So he was the one going for the condolence, because we live on the same street as my mother-in-law. So I was still at home. I was crying every morning. My mother-in-law was my person. When I mean my person, I mean like my person. I don't tell my mom deep things as much as I tell my mother-in-law. I have a dream, I tell my mother-in-law. I have something troubling me, I tell her. I need advice, I ask her. Me and my mom's talk is mostly like gossip, what is going on. When it comes to like in-depth things, I just know that there's someone, the right person to go to that will pray, fast, make moves. Is my mother-in-law. So
stand in the gap.
All through that period, I was like, I felt like a house that the ceiling was removed. I felt like I was open and vulnerable to the world, because like my shield and my covering was just taken away. But I had a dream. That I can't really disclose, but
it was like closure for you.
It was just a closure.
It was a little closure for me. And then the church community came. So they were coming daily. We have 5 groups in the church. And it was my mother that forced me to join. He said it doesn't matter if you're the youngest in the group, because they're just, full of older women and stuff. It was not my thing. My thing is more like youngies. Not older women that wear wrapper, but oh my God, those women, God bless them for me. They were coming, every day, and they will pray with us, speak to us. So there was one very older woman, that said a few things to me. She said death is a transition from earth to, heavenly glory. She's in it. There are some words that not just the it is well. Oh, sorry. May her soul rest in peace. No, no, no. There were some, deep things that she told me that I started realizing. Oh, well. And then our family friend, sorry, Lara, she came to the house. She's like, she made a statement that made sense to me, or maybe gave me little closure as well. She said that when her mom died, I think someone else told her, that this this group of good people, or Christians, or people that love God that die, that they are too good for the world. I don't know. I can't remember exactly how she put it, but in my own understanding, that was what she meant. They said that they are just too good for this world. And so they go back to be with God. They go back to be with the Father, because that is where they belong. They are saints. They are righteous. They are this. They are that. So I felt, and I had a dream where I saw my mother-in-law, the host of like people praying and saying, "Oh, okay." So it just gave me that closure. So when I just remember how I smile. On some days I cry, but
So that means that you just cope. So I think that's one of the reasons why they always say, have the right community, have the right friends, the right family members, because those are the people who will hold you up when there's a problem.
yeah, you
Though
need people.
you can't. For me, right, I think one of the Bible verses that helped me during my sister's death was the Bible verse where they said, I can't remember the chapter right now, but it says, you should be worried about yourself, like we that are still on earth, because the people who have gone, they have already finalized their own matter.
Yeah.
They're either in heaven or they're in
When
hell.
they say life is like markets, everybody will pass through, buy and go.
So those ones, they've gone to heaven
Life
because
is a stage.
we assume that they're in heaven. You that you're still here on earth, you don't know where you're going to, which is even the major problem, because you don't know if you're living a life of sin that will take you to hell, or if you're living a life that will not finally take you to heaven. So the Bible says, please worry about yourself that you're still here. So a lot of times we're saying, you know what, I'm going to believe that Chinelo is in heaven, and I'll not have to worry about living a holy and righteous life so that I can go and meet her where she is.
Yeah.
But yeah, dreams to help, and that's where that's where it comes to having a close relationship with God. Because to be very honest, the last couple of months have been such a hard time for me, and then I realized that peace only comes from God. Nobody else can give you peace.
True.
Yeah.
You see that
Very
thing or
true.
that person that you love the most, that you think, oh, when they hold me or when they do this to me, you get peace. If something happens to that person, just realize that all your peace is from God. So when they say peace that surpasses all understanding, I felt it and I understood what it meant. So
Like Pastor Taiwo Udukoya's kids.
yeah,
We couldn't understand the kind of peace they had even during their father's funeral. It was like a celebration. And that peace, like you said, could only come from knowing your relationship with God, knowing the person's relationship with
Yeah,
God,
because
God communicating with you.
Because during those times that those women would come for condolence visits, they will pray, they will sing, we'll have exhortations, they will just to lift our spirits, to just tell us, just pray, just thank God, just not make merry. There was this sentence one of the ladies said, it's a Bible verse. I don't know where it is in the Bible, but do not mourn like unbelievers, something like that. Because they said a lot of words. In all, what they were all just pointing or pinning at was, she's in heaven.
Yeah.
So let's thank God for the good life she lived, for the lives she touched.
Because it could have been worse. She could have gone. Well, we are assuming that she's in heaven.
Yes,
And it could have been worse. She could have gone to hell. She could have lived a life. She could have died in a more horrible way. So my mom says things. My mom says you need to thank God in every single situation, because it could have been worse.
Not easy.
It could have been worse.
Not easy, but
to be very honest, right? I think another thing that helps is tears. If you need to cry, cry. If you honestly
there'll
need
be a
to
lot
cry,
of crying.
just cry.
This is my biggest fear
like
in life, death, right?
So for all the people
faced
that I would say that I've lost, my biggest issue was not crying.
Really?
So I don't cry when I'm supposed to.
Me too.
I think that's one of the reasons why I'm worried for my husband, because
He has
you can tell they are hurting. You can tell they are hurting. They are deeply hurting. but you've not seen the person cry. Someone like me, like when I remember how I'll start
I think
crying,
they cry.
and
They
then
cry in secret. Because my dad cried in secret when he lost his mom, and then he didn't know.
that you were
But I
watching.
went. No, I went to the room to get something, and then I saw him like in his
Crying.
corner crying. So, but outside he was like so
Oh,
cold,
they were
super
so
cold.
No,
close.
my
And the
dad
same
cried
thing in
though
my sister's
in church.
funeral. I didn't cry for
Yeah.
my sister's funeral.
Yeah,
No.
I know that
My dad,
it would
when
be a
my parents
crazy
mom
scene
passed,
in
I
church.
didn't cry. I
Yeah.
was even like, guys, February 14th. We usually go out as a family on February 14th for dinner. So me, I was even, God forgive me, but I was even more angry that we were not going to go out. I
Sorry,
was I
Mama.
was even more upset that we're not going to go
Go
out
out.
for our family lunch because the reason
Mm-hmm.
that time ATMs were not as we didn't have ATMs. You have to go to the bank to get cash now to pay. So we're going to the bank to get cash so we could
When
pay
it
for our
happened.
dinner.
Mm-hmm.
And then my mom could not drive home, so my dad had to come to school, my mom's
To the back.
workplace to
Oh,
pick
okay.
her up and stuff. So I was
Hmm.
upset that. So after all the bath up, where I don't bath up, like so I wore this white and red shirt. I had
Sure.
love everything, and it was like off shoulder with like strap here. I'm like after all my bath up, so we're not going to
Oh
go
my
out again.
god. I know that
So
feeling.
so I did cry. I didn't mourn for my grandma. Her funeral was like the most fun time in the village
Mm.
because
Yeah.
How
everybody
old was
came.
she?
She was in her 80s.
Oh,
A
okay.
lot of people came, and my grandmom. I was telling you yesterday, my grandmom was a cafeteria. She used to
Yeah,
cook
you
in the
said
cafeteria,
so.
so she had a lot of children, quote unquote.
That was why
So they will leave
Nene's
school.
jollof rice was banging.
They will leave school and then come to her house and finish her food in her pot, and she won't be
Mm.
angry. Her own is that food is for eating. They can come to
Right.
Hmm.
my house and they will eat from the pot. Nothing. They won't
Mm-hmm.
even get a plate. So a lot of people wanted to repay her for all her
Good.
kindness towards them, and they are
Mm-hmm.
all big men and women now. So it was like celebration of life. A lot of
Hmm.
people came. It
Yeah.
was there was
Because I
traffic
mean, she was
everywhere.
in her 80s.
Yeah,
Yeah, I know,
yeah.
My
right?
mother is, she died at
60
62.
something. So,
And I
But I
feel like
still feel like you people, like your family, is going to celebrate her life because
yeah,
she touched even in her death. She's still touching
touching lives.
lives.
And then, even in time that we think is short, because my sister living up to 60 something is not beans, but let's assume that that's short life, right? She still touched a
a lot.
lot
A lot
of
of lives, and
people.
she's still touching
A
even in her
lot. Do
absence.
you understand that people who are in
Yeah.
their 60s and did not touch half of the lives that she
Quarter.
touched? So,
Mm,
honestly,
1%.
I honestly
yeah.
think that
Yeah.
I hope that this episode has helped you in a way. But honestly, if you lose a loved one, cry. Make sure you cry because to be very honest, I think it helps really. I didn't cry when my sister died. Even at funeral, I didn't cry. I was
Are
like
you
the strongest
serious?
here. So then everybody had gone home and I stayed 2 weeks inside my house crying. Only me. Because I don't know how to cry in front of people.
Hmm.
So I just stayed. So that day I was the one serving food, doing everything. After everything, everybody went back home, went back to their houses. Now some my own start. So please, if you need to cry, cry. Have the right friends, the right
Yeah, can you talk to
community.
someone?
Please
Yeah.
be around people. I need to point it out. I know that I've told Nathan Nene how how wonderful they have been in the last couple of months because last couple of months have been like the hardest of my life. But the truth is I was able to go through it because I had them. I remember one day that I called them on the phone and I was crying. I think Nene drove all the way. Naza couldn't come and Nene drove all the way. And then just seeing her
Yeah.
and just having Naza on the
You guys
phone,
called me on video
yeah, it
call.
just made me
Yeah.
feel better. Hey God,
That's
I was
true.
wailing, I was not crying. And then it's just because they were there. Because when I
Support
look
system.
back, yeah,
Yeah,
if
having
I
a good
look back
support
now and just
system.
imagine people were not there, what would I have done? I would have died though.
No, you won't
Hey, Jesus
die.
Christ. Because it was horrible. But it's just having those people around you. Like Nadia said, she had like people from church. That's why when they say
And my
join
mom
group
was
in
around.
church.
My mom was
Thank
I
around.
haven't
you.
even joined CW.
When they say
I haven't
join
joined
group in
CW.
church,
I
you'll be
haven't
saying,
joined
I'm not interested.
village meeting.
Mm.
Me, I've never
My mom
joined
was
anyone.
around
I
too. Although
managed to
my
join
mom was even
CW,
crying more
Sha.
than me, safe.
I joined CW, but I haven't joined other
But at least
village
having
meetings.
someone around
Yeah.
Yeah,
helped.
it helps. Then, if you need to read your Bible, please read your Bible. Listen to worship songs. The thing
Sometimes.
yeah, worship
That
songs will make you cry.
advice,
Oh.
that advice of reading the Bible, me, I was angry at God though, because I said, my mother-in-law that does all the prayers for us, all the fasting. Mommy, are you eating this? Will you eat this? She said, no, I'm fasting.
Fasting.
Mm.
She died. So what am I praying for?
So,
When very soon, you know?
remember that
So
I
I
told you
just
that
felt
me
like, if my mother-in-law could die,
die.
Mm.
what am
Who
I
are
now
we?
praying
Yeah.
for? until those women, I still, I
So
owe them a
you
lot.
know that I remember I said that for the first 6 months I didn't pray.
Mm.
For someone like my mom, she found her solace in the Bible. So
Mm.
that's the
Prayers,
thing
yeah.
about
Yeah,
the
people are
loss of
different.
everybody. Everybody's different. Some people you find their own solace in listening to music. Some people find their own solace in going out. Whatever it is, or
Quiet
however
time,
however you find like true. Oh, that's true. When I'm going through something, right, after I've gone through it, I like to spend some time on my own without any interference from anybody.
Mm.
No phone calls, nothing. I remember I think I switched off at a particular
Yeah.
time,
Yeah.
right?
They were
Because
calling everyone.
everybody,
Is she okay? Is she okay?
because I just want to be on my own at that time and just breathing
Recollecting,
and
yeah.
everything. Nobody should talk to me, just stay. So however it is, like as I said, we are three different people, and if you check it, we found solace in different ways. Naza in her church community members,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, Naza in her church community members, me in my own friends and family, and then Nene in going out and wishing that the after party, I mean the Valentine's Day party happens. But yeah, in family too. So whatever it is or however you find your own solace, please just find it and just know that the pain never goes away.
But to get
You can
better.
only manage
Yeah,
it.
to
Yeah,
get
it'll
better.
get better, but it will never go away. So sometimes when people are crying and they were like, "Will this pain ever go away?" I'm sorry to tell you, it will never go away. But
It
you
just gets.
just get better.
I think you manage it better.
Yeah, just be able to
You
manage it. That's all.
You manage it better. So
Anyways,
please let us know in the comment section if you've
Yes.
lost someone and
Yeah,
how you are able to,
coped.
cope and deal with it.
Yeah.
And thank God we didn't cry today.
Oh yeah.
We tried
I'm
our
glad I didn't
possible
cry.
best.
A few tears dropped.
You're
but I was
You're
able
the
to-
crier amongst us. You're
I
the
don't know,
crier.
but I'm usually like the hard guy. Like,
No, you're the crier amongst
Eh?
us. So.
The lady I was talking about her cousin the other day, her closest
Yeah,
cousin
I
that
think
she
that was when I
lost
was asking you. I was like, that was when we went for lunch.
for
I was still
yeah.
pregnant.
yes,
Everybody
yes.
was
And
like,
when
And
I
then
said,
it's like my cousin and everything just dropped. So
Yeah.
yeah, I think it's just okay to just let it out because
Mhm.
I think that after that day, after she let it out, she even felt better and they started gisting. So please cry. Crying is important. Please just cry. Because me, I'm usually the
Some
hard
people that
guy
don't
and I
want to
don't
cry.
cry. But
Sharon is literally forcing them to
honestly,
cry.
please cry.
no, I think it's
You must
good
not
to cry
cry.
'cause-
She didn't cry.
No, but the thing is, I did cry when it happened, but I
Mhm.
cried after.
After,
I'm crying
yeah,
after.
I cried after.
You'll be
So
fine.
Yeah.
I
You'll
cried
be
after.
fine.
So
And then you remember the person, the memories.
yeah, the cute little memories, and then you just know that this world is empty.
Life is fickle, man.
Yeah, so empty. Do you know that I lost my sister in February? I came home in January. I mean December, January, right? And she had this red handbag. I also had it, but my own at sports. I wanted to beg her because she's like a tomboy. So I knew that she wasn't interested in all these bags and earrings. I was now shaping my mouth. I said no, that will ask her when I come back in April for Easter. So she left. You know when I came home in February, right?
The bag
As
was
she had
still
bag
there.
was just hanging there, and just seeing the bag, my whole spirit broke down. I was so sad. Like I was so sad. I never collected that handbag ever because I didn't even. I don't know. I just couldn't.
I know what it feels like. Because my mother-in-law, it feels like she's just everywhere in my house. I'll pick up Jordan's lunch bag pack and I was
You remember she's one
the
that got it.
flask. Oh, this was from grandma. There was this chaplet she gave us. We were just tossing it around the house. The moment she died, the day I saw it, I didn't even give it to Jordan again. I took it, I kept it in my wardrobe because I don't want it to get lost. Because
Like preserving her
yeah,
memory.
she's just everywhere. This perfume, oh, it was from mom. This
And
book, it was from
it's
mom.
funny because there's some. I know we're supposed to be ending, but it's funny because there's some families that it's the opposite. They don't want to
Yeah.
preserve. They want to just share your properties and like let's just get it
Yeah,
over with.
I think because they're also trying to heal.
Yes,
See, it's just like
people
the
heal
kind of
differently.
how
That's
I
true.
kind of heartbreak I went through, or should I say kind of pain I went through recently, right? And letting go of the things that reminded me of those things was what helped
It
me
helped.
better.
That sometimes when you see those things, you just remember the person, you start crying all over.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So
just like you said about the miscarriage. So when I found that I was pregnant, I gave my husband like try to make it special because I felt like when I had my first baby, it wasn't really
There was
like
no
I'm
ceremony.
pregnant. There was no ceremony. So I wanted to
make this
put
so
that ceremony,
special.
video the moment and everything.
Yeah.
So I had there was this pack of onesies that someone gifted me when I had it, and she never wore it because she had already outgrown it, and it said welcome to the world or welcome something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So it was definitely for a baby, and it was neutral, it was like white and grey. So it's not
Any
Sex,
gender.
yeah.
gender, yeah. So I put it in a nice bag, and I put my pregnancy test kit and everything, and I gave it to him, and he was so happy. And when we lost that baby, I just carried everything and just put it up.
I don't see it.
Like I'm even looking for who is going to have a baby
and I'll give
that I'm
it
going
up.
to give it out to,
Yeah.
because like, and if peradventure when I get pregnant next time, I'm obviously not going to gift him that same thing.
Use it again.
I want
yes.
I want to get something fresh,
Yeah.
something new.
So they won't be like,
Yeah.
is it deja vu or they call
Yeah.
it?
Yeah. And then before now, right? I didn't know that miscarriages are like falling in love with someone you've never met. It's like you just fall in love with the heartbeat and everything, and then it never happens, and then you're like so heartbroken, and then that still brings us back to community, because I think like community, family prayers and everything is just a way to deal with the loss of a loved one. I really hope that this episode has touched you, blessed you, helped you in a way
Yeah.
that you would love. And please share topics or stories that you'd like to hear from every other. We always have different guests. I don't know when I'll bring this to people on this show again. But,
Coming back next week.
But
My
yeah.
time is money, baby.
Okay. This one, please, let's leave this. This one, can you
Okay,
love and buy her? All we need to do is tell Odara to call her. and then- But they're expensive. I have to find dollars. But yeah, thank you for joining us on
Please like.
on
Don't
the
forget.
yeah. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share,
Yes,
Mhm.
please.
Please.
Comment.
comment.
Mhm.
Please tell us how if you ever lost a loved one, how you managed it, and
Cool.
if there are stories that you would like people to share and stuff. I really need to bring Naza back on the show and have Naza share how she got married and why she's so in love. And then, yeah. But guys, hey, Nene was even just that she got engaged yesterday. Short, and you really need to bring people back. But yeah, that'll be for another time.
Yes, I need to tell my engagement story.
Of
Very,
what-
very boring. Funny enough, my husband put in effort. Anyway, that story for
He
another
put in
day.
effort,
But it just didn't work.
It was not
it wasn't efforting.
Efforting wasn't giving effort. Nene was
today.
grumbling about her own yesterday. She said it
Just
wasn't
end our
even.
video.
So don't worry.
We'll come back. The gist
So
is
that means
plenty.
this gist will be on our next episode. But
But yeah, I
yeah,
still love you.
Thank-
It's just
I love how Nene just has to always reassure Chibos in front of every one of
Oh,
us.
I know what she just did. What did she
said,
say?
I love you. She will tell him.
Of course.
I'm in the midst of two
She's
lover
blushing.
girls.
She's blushing.
He
See
has
her
to,
face.
he has to blush. She's always
She's
blushing.
okay,
bye.